What was once a creative spin on an iconic character has now become the new norm. Superman is known to stand for truth, justice, and the American way. That's how it's been for a long time, but things are starting to change. The Man of Steel is starting to be represented differently. He's starting to be depicted as more of a violent hero who cares less about the people and more about his grand goal of world peace. Not only has this change affected the character of Superman, but it is also affecting the way other powerful characters are written. Recently, a lot of information about the Injustice movie has been released, a trailer as well. Being a fan of both the Injustice comics and video games, I was shot with excitement upon seeing the trailer. But it also made me stop and think about how popular the idea of injustice is getting. A broken, evil Superman is becoming more and more common, ranging from Red Sun Superman to, in some ways, Batman vs. Superman. In my Superman character analysis video, I talked about Superman as one of the very few beacons of light in DC, and usually he is. But now the tide has shifted. Depictions of an evil godlike superhero is changing the game. With more and more evil versions of Superman-like characters, that reputation is becoming clouded. Omni-Man from Invincible and Homelander from The Boys are two examples of this. Oh, and just as a heads up, there will be some spoilers for both Invincible and The Boys. Mostly Invincible. Both characters portray themselves as good-willed heroes with Superman-level powers. And yes, I will agree with the fact that they are ridiculously powerful, but they are also really corrupt. To the world, Omni-Man is the greatest superhero of all time, a staple of what a good person is. Well, not quite. The reality is, Omni-Man is only concerned with his own plans to repopulate the Earth, building up an empire of Viltrumites, if I pronounced that properly. So the world's perception of the mustached hero and who he actually is are strikingly different. And let's be honest, if anyone can voice an evil anti-hero, it's J.K. Simmons. Come on. Invincible managed to do something very different and unique with its evil Superman. In the very first episode of Invincible, Omni-Man is shown to have brutally murdered the Guardians of the Globe. It was shocking to the audience, as it didn't fit our perception of who he was. But for me at least, something very strange occurred while watching more of the show. I started to trick myself into believing Nolan was still a hero. It's almost as if I didn't want to believe he was capable of such atrocities. Unlike Homelander from The Boys, who we knew is entirely fake to the public, Omni-Man managed to make us empathize with him to an extent. Then he nearly killed Mark, so that kind of broke the illusion. Homelander tricked the public into believing he is a hero, being treated as the mascot for a media platform. Homelander and his team became almost beings of propaganda. Injustice is similar as well. Now, in fairness, the Injustice Superman is pretty open with his goals of locking up and killing criminals, but he brainwashed the public into believing this is right. In all of these situations, a character that is thought to be good is actually corrupt. Even though none of these relate to the canon of DC Comics, evil Superman-like characters are changing the way people see Superman in general. Now, I don't want to come across like I hate seeing Superman go bad. I think it's a really interesting concept. Superman Red Sun is one of my all-time favorite Superman stories. The Injustice comics are also some of my favorite Superman stories, even if they do depict him as an angry dictator. It's not the stories themselves that give Superman a bad rep, it's the frequency of these stories. They've become so frequent, in fact, that now other characters are taking inspiration. Again, none of this is bad, per se, but I just worry that we need some more positive Superman tales. But what does it mean to have a positive Superman story? In my mind, the perfect Superman story comes out to one thing: a story where we see Superman as both a powerful, good, and relatable superhero. So essentially, All-Star Superman. I've gushed about this comic far too much in other videos, so this time, I just won't talk about it. Alright, fine, I will. All-Star Superman captures the essence of what makes Superman such a noble and respectable hero without making him seem larger than life. As soon as the Man of Steel becomes viewed as a god, the story has failed to make him relatable. Clark Kent in All-Star Superman is shy and curious, while Superman is strong and confident. I think that's why the glasses disguise kind of works in the Superman mythos, because no one would ever expect Clark Kent, of all people, to be Superman. In the end, the hope that Superman represents will never be lost. let's get deep for a second. Even though we live in one of the safest periods in history, it's a scary world out there. For almost 2 years now, we've been socially restricted, creating a vast feeling of isolation. The news often makes it seem as if though the world is ending, which adds another layer of stress onto things. And now, we're finally starting to move on again. But it's still a lot to process. Characters like Superman are good reminders that people are often inherently good. In the midst of lockdown, reading All-Star Superman and Kingdom Come really made me feel some peace of mind. In DC Comics, with so many dark storylines, it's nice to be able to pick up a Superman comic and feel nice. Even though I really enjoyed reading the Injustice graphic novels and playing the video games, I don't always want that feeling of adrenaline while reading comics. Sometimes, it's nice to be swept away in the pages without them being violent. I'm glad writers and artists are experimenting with this interesting trope, but I feel like it's getting out of hand. It's important that we read Superman stories from a more positive perspective so that we remember the true morals of the character. I do understand that it's difficult to keep these heroes relevant for over 80 years now, but good storytelling is timeless. Superman is timeless. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.